Right, welcome. This is episode 35 of the Contextual podcast. This is a special one today because I've got a man on who has supported me and the podcast from the very beginning, and the fact that I'm a dirty red and he still listens to the podcast. So the great man, Mr. Bibby from Pes Universe.
What's going on, guys?
Nice. Oh, thanks for coming on, mate. I do appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, mate. It's my pleasure.
Well, Bibby and me have been speaking for quite a while through our sort of connection of Pro Evo and the same sort of social media stuff, and the fact that he started listening to the podcast and supporting me really, and we originally Stevo's still there, and then you've got your own show now, haven't you? So you've got to put a famous plug out there. So get that plug going, mate.
Basically, I started it to not just to encompass the Pes community, because essentially that's where I see my home. Obviously, I've got a lot of friends that knock around there. I'm one of the few people that seem to get sent around the country to either promote or to just be there to interact, to do whatever and speak to the community. So I think it's only fair that some of the people that don't particularly think that they've got a voice have the option to be able to come on. Obviously, it's not just about Pes. It's about gaming in general and everything else that goes around it, because believe it or not, Pes is not the only game that I play, considering I do as much work as I do with Pes Universe. So essentially giving people the opportunity to come on and talk about whatever it is, whether or not it be wrestling, which I obviously know you're a big fan of, myself included, just to be able to have a chat really, because there's nothing more than I love to do more than chat really, and play games. So bringing them both together into one show and getting a variety of people on is possibly one of the greatest things that I've actually been able to stick to and bring people forward.
No, that's good. I mean, and I'm not just blowing smoke up your arse here, Bibby, at all, but I've watched the first one I've watched, and I'm about halfway through the second one, and it's really good. And to be fair, it's making me having to up my game.
Having someone, I mean, all I wanted to do was be able to get something that's not of a studio quality, but something that I can do in my bedroom. So whether or not it'd be using OBS to make slides and just run trailers on stuff like that. I mean, I put a question out on Twitter if people had an advert for their own channel, whether or not it'd be a podcast, whether or not it'd be a gaming channel or something like that, just to be able to bring their stuff to the front, to the front line, basically. Because I've got quite a lot of people listening to it either live or on demand afterwards. So me having their interaction live on screen. So if you've got 30 people like I have done in the first one and just over 20 in the last one in the chat, then having that interaction between us, so me, the chat, and obviously my guest who I've had for the previous two, which has been the Midnight Kid from Pes Universe as well, is a very, very good friend of mine. So yeah, having that interaction between the people in the chat, my guest, it's just basically having a freeway conversation between everyone, because everyone's got a point about something. So if everyone wants to have a chat, then that's what we're there for. So it just makes it flow a lot better. So if I can bring that studio quality to into my bedroom and then promote it that way, I'm a happy man.
No, and I think as well, it's a good idea because, like, as I do this, I mean, I'm 35 episodes in. I started a different podcast with a friend of mine regarding sort of comic book movies and TV stuff and all that, and I swore, let's say I will not swear, but I don't do any swearing on it because it's a different audience. I'm trying to be a bit more prepared. So like seeing what you've done over the first couple of episodes, and even what we're doing with this other one, is showing that really I wing this pretty much, and you can't do that, especially content. If you want to put it on and get people on and get people coming back, we're getting a loyal following like with yourself and other people who do listen to it, which is great. But I think by us all talking and interacting and doing each other's shows or just even promoting each other, it just gets that conversation out there about Pro Evo or gaming or whatever, because we're all fans of the same things.
280 characters isn't enough on Twitter to have a full-blown conversation, because 9 times out of 10 before you even manage to finish writing the second tweet, someone's already replied to your first one. So having a face-to-face via Google or Skype or in the pub, do you know what I mean? At some point down the line, I do want to take it out of my bedroom and into a neutral venue to be able to speak to people live on air, maybe not just have an hour podcast or hour and a half podcast, maybe incorporate into 3 hours, but then you'll have gaming in between and stuff like that. I don't want it to be just the small time hour. I want to take it, I want to propel it, I want it to be bigger than me. It's my show, but I want it to be bigger than me. I want people to look forward to it each week. Do you know what I mean? So that's my mindset. I don't want it to be the same as everybody else. I want to try and think outside the box and keep on pushing it. And I'm with you with your not with your Marvel, your comic book podcasts and things like that. Obviously, you've got more than one passion, which is gaming. You've got comic books, films, and stuff like that. So obviously, you're already pushing the book into moving into different things. So I think that's what everyone should be doing. I don't think everyone should just settle with what they're comfortable with, i.e., Ivy gaming, and just put more than one just interest out. Because people don't just have one side to them; they have more than one side. So whether or not it be football, gaming, comic books, films, TV, whatever, it don't make a difference. Everyone's got more than one hobby. So it's nice that people are attempting to push and propel themselves a little bit further down the line.
No, and I think that's right. And I think in the UK, I listen to a lot of the American podcasts, and this is where this has come from. I used to listen originally to the Win 11 blog podcasts with Adam and stuff, and then from there, like it wasn't really every week. It was every now and again, which was relevant to Pro Evo, and wait for news about gameplay, testing days and stuff like that. And then I progressed into now where I don't even listen to the radio. I just a full on for like the Joe Rogan podcast, a lot of the UFC podcasts, Stone Cold Steve Austin's I listen to every week. It's just a mix of stuff, but podcasting is such a big way now to interact with people, and it's like an attachment to the social media with the Twitter, because you can have that conversation and there's no airs and graces. It was always hard to get to these people or get to anybody, and I think you'll find yourself, because yours is well produced, and that is that it's when people actually give you lovely compliments saying like, "Oh, I love your podcast," and like you've done with me, and it's a great medium, I think. And I don't think what you're doing. I think what you're doing is absolutely on the money and thinking outside the box. I've got a few ideas that I'm trying to get up and running regarding this podcast. The comic book one, I think, will look after itself, and that's all you need to do is like just keep doing it, because people will come back. Because the content's fresh and the chat's fresh and everyone can get involved. And I like the fact you've got the chat thing. That's something I haven't got. So you've got to stick to that. That's like your thing. I think it's a great. I was chatting to when you did your first podcast. It was great.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Having more than just one person next to, obviously, me and you having a conversation now, and I can speak to the Midnight Kid who's been in the previous two ones for days. We can not just talk about whatever the subject is. You'll find that we'd set out before we even, like when I'll do my brief to him, he'll say, right, we're going to spend 10 minutes on this segment, 10 minutes on this segment, 5 on this. That the 5-minute segment that we're going to spend on ends up rolling into 25 minutes. And then we're just like, Jesus Christ, we just segued into 4 different things off the first thing that we were talking about. So opening that dialogue up is perfect for people. Like you say, obviously Twitter's not the best place to be able to do stuff. Like people have got 250,000 tweets. And then the interaction between them and whoever it is, maybe it's not good. It's not of the high standard that you'd expect from a podcast where you can sit down with someone and have that conversation.
Oh, and I agree with that. I agree. And look, there's not many people do it in the UK. So the fact that we're doing it around the gaming for our own sort of shows is a good thing. And honestly, you're doing really well, mate. I'm not.
Anyway.
Pardon?
Independently anyway, because there's obviously the big places like IGN UK and stuff like that, but obviously they get told what to talk about. They don't necessarily want to talk about some of the stuff that they are talking about. They just have to talk about it because they've been paid to do so. Exactly.
And you're right, we're doing this off our own back for the love or getting, of gaming and Pro Evo or whatever it is. It's getting the conversation, as I said. So no, I'm bang on. But before we go on, Bibby, to our first topic, me and yourself have a bit of a beef with an American friend of ours. Calling us out for the way we say David De Gea. David De Gea.
David De Gea.
David De Gea.
He's going to keep it. Look, I'm forcing myself to say it how he wants me to say it, but it's De Gea to me.
Well, obviously it doesn't matter to you because you can call whatever you want with you being a City fan. I'll accept
I've got to say though, he is an unbelievable goalkeeper. Like, if we didn't have Edison, I'm not saying he's better than Edison. Well, I'm not saying that Edison's better than him, because this season has proved that obviously he's head and shoulders above the goalkeeper that we had in Bravo last year.
Yeah.
However, De Gea for me is still the best keeper in the world without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, he is a great keeper. And I think Edison, though, I've seen him loads of times for use this season, unfortunately. And he's doing the business. He had Bravo in. We probably will be a bit closer, I think.
Oh, tell me about it. He was like Weetabix. The ball just came at him. It just dissolved and flaked out.
I can't say anything. Some of the dodgy keepers we've had. De Gea's been a breath of fresh air, but then again, he's been our best player because the rest of the team fucking bobbing. So I can't say too much.
It says something when when people are celebrating the saves more than the goals these days with him.
Yeah.
But as a shot stopper, he's doing exactly what he needs to do as a goalkeeper. He stops goals.
Yeah, and exactly. Well, we have to celebrate because when you got them two clowns, Smalling and Jones, in front of them, we've got to celebrate somewhere.
I will keep on saying that, but they're going to the World Cup, so I don't know what we're going to do there.
And that's exactly what's wrong with England when you got them two clowns playing for him. Anyway, absolute bobbins, them two. But no, before we go into football, because I just want to call Brian out because he's proper slaying us, and this Mancunians, he doesn't have a clue. They still call it soccer in America, so I'm sorry, I'm not having that.
Fucking Yank bastard. Only play him.
He's going to have me when he comes on here. But no, what we saw about was Pro Evo, because obviously, big Pes Universe. Yeah. I know what Pes Universe is about, but the option files and things like that, I don't really do now. I've given up the ghost, really, because I just don't want to waste it. I did last year. And then when we had the updates and it messed up some of the option files, I think I probably got it from Pes Universe, to be fair, the option file. I haven't touched it this year. And I got it when I got my review copy, I asked for it on Xbox because I wanted to try it in 4K, but I just can't touch it.
4K update for it.
On Xbox, not a HDR one. I think they got a 4K one.
Right.
But
I've just got 4K telling me, so I'll PS4 Pro, so...
right, yeah. I don't think... No, it's not, to be fair. 1080 is more than enough. It's just... I wanted to try it to see if the X made a difference, sort of thing, because I could have got it on the PlayStation. But to be fair, the popular people's on the PlayStation. But as someone who obviously is so more affiliated with Pes than I am, and obviously we've interacted on Twitter and I've seen, and I go on like Win11 blog and Evo Web and stuff like that. What do you honestly think about Pro Evo as it stands, whether it be the game, I have a big issue with the social media stuff, as you know, because I fell out with him over that. We talked about that briefly before, but I think the whole way it's marketed, everything about that game is just wrong in my eyes. I'm not saying I could do a better job, but just everything. What do you think, honestly, about
it? The way that it's marketed isn't how it used to be 10 years ago, but I'll struggle to find a game where it's marketed exactly the same.
Yeah.
The games these days now are predominantly online. The whole concept of it is all online. Now, more and more kids are playing these games, and there's no learning curve, there's no skill gap in between the likes of FIFA and PES, or I struggle to find many games. I mean, there was a couple of people that brought up, I think Gran Turismo was possibly one of them, where there is a skill gap still involved. Forza, and I think it's predominantly just racing games because you have to be decent, otherwise you're off the track and you're smashing your car up. But when it comes down to a football game, I don't think there's a skill gap there anymore. So if they can market it to, I don't know, if they can market it to 40% of the people who look at this game on a shelf as a direct rival to FIFA, and they convert them people to say you've got half a chance, because it doesn't matter how good your team is on that game. There's either ways to glitch it or there's ways to win rather than actually just being good. Because I've beaten people who I know are miles better than me. If I was to sit down next to them and would pick exactly the same team, play the exact same players, they would wipe the floor with me. But there's times where I've beaten people where I definitely should not have been able to win that game, and I've won it by one goal, I've one shot on target. Do you know what I mean? And they've tanned my net 19 times or whatever. I don't think the game is half as good as what it used to be. Now, I still play this game. I've not played it properly since probably November, and I'm contradicting myself, but when I mean properly, I mean like I'm balls deep into a Master League where I'm playing it 3 or 4 hours a night, back to back. When the missus goes to bed, the first thing I'm doing is I'm firing up my PlayStation. I'm sinking some hours into it. I have played it since, and I have streamed it since then as well, because obviously people want to watch Pes Universe players play it, i.e. whether that be Sepp, whether or not it be Wezza, whether or not it be David Fish or whatever. They want people to be playing that game. So if I can go onto the Pes Universe channel and play it for people and get their enjoyment out of it, then I'm more than happy to put 2 or 3 hours in. But for me to get the utmost enjoyment out of it, as I said in my own podcast on episode 2 and 1, now I've got my PlayStation HDMI conversion. I'm just playing the old ones again for Master League. I need that old feeling of being able to play this game to its full potential and to when I'm scoring a goal, I feel like I've earned it rather than just lumping the ball up and it being fast goal.
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I mean, you've heard all these podcasts I've done. I am, because of the way it's gone, I am an online gamer now more than anything. I would love to go in the Masters League and spend the hours I spent.
It's not deep enough.
No, it's not. There's nothing there to it. It's almost like I've said it before. It's like a mobile game, really. It's just a cheap add-on. And I think at the moment, Konami don't know whether they're producing predominantly something for offline or something for online. It's somewhere in between. And because there's no sort of direction or DNA to that game like there used to be, I just struggle. And I just struggle with all of it. My club, I think, is just a joke. I don't understand any of that concept. I think I'm in like a parallel universe where I try and sit down and watch what people are doing and explain to people what it's about. It's not Ultimate Team. Tactics don't mean anything. You have a tactics behind a manager. You can't change it on the fly. It's just, I just don't understand that logic. And then the Masters League. Last year, 2017, I played a Masters League for about 3 months, and I thought, you know what, this is the first Masters League I played where I thought it's not too bad. I can scrape it or top player. I can play it and it's bearable. And then I just got to a point where I thought, no, it's just, and not even comparing it to the competitor. Just as an end, I want Pro Evo to be the Pro Evo of old. And I'm with you. I said to you on Twitter, I'm waiting for my HDMI, a composite to HDMI adapter, because I've got the original Xbox and the PS2 there with all the games. And I was going to do the same as you and start streaming now that I've got all the stuff set up and just play it, because the old Masters League meant so much to so many people. And
I've had more people coming into my streams and saying either, what is this? Or, oh my God, it's an absolute classic. And they've sat there with me for 2.5 hours. I didn't buy a player in Pes 2 because that's the one I've been doing. That's what I've been streaming Pes 2. I didn't buy a player for a season because I couldn't afford to, because I'd had such a torrid time in my first season on it. At the end of the season, I just about had enough points to be able to buy 2 players and then move into the next season, just build on from there. Whereas in the new Pes, because money's just so rife, like if you had a half decent player, it'd be worth 60 million, never mind your best player on the team. So the money exchange between the players and the teams, it's not realistic enough for me to keep my attention, because I don't feel like I'm building a team. I've just got money like City and Chelsea and PSG have, where they can just throw money at players. I don't feel like it's realistic enough for me to be able to keep wanting to carry on playing. Like, I'm in my 3rd season now on the Pes 2 one, and I've probably bought 4 players. I'm not doing as well as I thought I was going to do, but I've not even managed to get out of the 3rd division yet. But I still want to go back and play it. Do you know what I mean? When I finish this podcast, chances are I'm going to boot up my PlayStation 2 and I'm going to carry on playing it.
Yeah, and that's all I think anybody who wants with Pes, and anybody who sort of fell out of love with the game wants that feeling of one more game. Even FIFA doesn't really have that anymore. I play pro clubs with my family, but mainly because I'm with my family. Ultimate Team is exhausted as best I can now, Bibby. I can't touch it because it's the same old shit, same old money grabbing crap, and pay to win stuff. So there's nothing there in any of the football games other than pro clubs, and that's more because it's a social thing with my family, my daughter. Yeah, exactly. It's a great laugh and stuff. It's not great when you're getting dicked all the time by by some absolute class players, but when you hit it, it's a great little thing. Yeah. So I'm with you, and I think I saw that video you put up of Pro Evo, the original one. Yeah. And you're watching it, and you're even watching, like, all right, it's a pitch, but they've even got the wear and tear on the pitch, which you forget about. Not these streams of green lines and fucking now they're trying to bring in what FIFA brought in, where the pitch deteriorates over time. And I'm not saying EA have got it right, but there's a source of realism to what EA do, which when Pro Evo was at its best, nobody gave a shit that I didn't care that United were called Man Red and played at the Chadwick Stadium, whether you had an option file or not, because the gameplay was so good. But now that it's not, people can't forgive that. So they just go, I'm playing FIFA. It plays football, whether it's great or not. And that's where everyone goes to it. And Konami don't seem to want to see it or believe it, unfortunately.
I mean, I'm not in direct contact with, in fact, I am. I'm in direct contact with most of the people at Konami. Whether or not we're straight down the line with each other, blah blah blah. I'm not getting into any of the politics between them, and I've got a good time for them. If I bump into them or speak to them, I'm more than happy to be hostile to them or whatever. I mean, I've got good friends within that Pes community, shall we call it, and I appreciate them if I had a concern, they would be more than happy to sit there and speak to me about it, which is all I want. Essentially, why we've got the survey running, where people can put down all the thoughts. And again, I've mentioned it on the Pescast, and obviously on my show, the survey was there for people who don't feel like they've been able to put their opinion forward on Twitter or any sort of forum type thing. Because essentially now forums are dead with the likes of Facebook and Twitter coming to. Because why would you go into a forum with the hope that someone's going to read it when you can just at them? Do you know what I mean? So for me, giving that option to people where they can put all the stuff down. And to be fair, there's a hell of a lot more positives than I thought there would be. I thought it was just going to be, I give the option for them to put NA if they didn't think anything was good, if they didn't have anything to say about it. But every time they put a negative, they put a positive to reinforce behind it. So they have got a lot to build on. And it's not just all negative foundations. They've got the positives like, oh, yeah, we can play at night, or we're missing the snow. Do you know what I mean? So they're giving the positive and then the negative underneath it, which is all I assume all any company wants. They want to know what they've been throwing out has been worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. And I know when you see the stuff on social media and it's hard when we've all got jobs. So you understand you've got to toe the line. You've got to play the company angle because you have a job. You're not paying your mortgage. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with the hype and stuff of the game. They believe in that product, whether we do as fans. I have no issue with that. What I have an issue with is when you're totally ignored and the conversation dies on its arse, basically, because you've brought a positive, not positive, you've brought a constructive response to an issue. And then it's ignored. And then when the next game comes out, we get the same old cycle of PR bullshit. It's then acknowledged. And you're sort of like, well, why were you so off with me? We're not trying to be, not me, but in general, I've done plenty of these surveys that you're talking about and loads on WMB, Evo Web, Pes Fan. And I just read them and you can go back on, like Win 11 blog is what I go on a lot of. So you can go on there and you go in like the old sections and read the feedback. And it's the same stuff that 7-8 years later.
I mean, 9 months to turn around a game isn't long enough. Like,
no.
Again, it's something that I've talked about loads. The fact that Red Dead has been able to get the opportunity to push their game back 9 months to incorporate a new game mode because the engine that they was using, I don't think was compatible with what they wanted to throw out. So they've had the option to say, right, we're going to give you the best game that we can, but we're going to put it back 9 months. And everyone's like, do you know what? I've been waiting for this long enough. I'm more than happy to sit back and wait another 9 months if you're telling me what we're getting is going to be good. But Pes doesn't have that option. Konami do not have that option to push back the game. They want to get it out before FIFA does. But still 9 months. They would have started working on Pes 2019 before 18 even went gold. 100%. They would have before Pes 2018 actually started printing discs. They would have started to take people off that project to start work on 19. So I think the one thing that shot himself in the foot and one thing that they ended up that using the PR machine as you were saying before is the fact that they kept on saying this game's 3 years in the making. There was 100% not a chance in hell that I would have said anything about that. No. I would not have told them how long I would have been working on this game because if it goes tits up, the one thing that people are going to keep on relaying back to you is the fact that you spent 3 years working on this and it's still broken. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think as well, what I struggle with is each version for the last 5 or 6 years is completely different to the one that was out the year before. So when you have a version, say like a lot of people talk about the PES 2013 or 14 as they found their building block. As for game, for me, I liked 11, even though there's faults with it because of the passing. The passing was quite open and stuff, almost manual in some respects, not all the time, but you know there was a bit more freedom to the passing.
But then again, so was the earlier ones. Like I've been trying to get used to playing the older ones again. It's been a fucking nightmare because you only have an 8-point turning system. You can't pass the ball to where you want to put it to. So it's all learning curves, but go on. Sorry, I've cut you off.
No, sorry. No. So I am with you on that, but I find that like 2019 will not have any real DNA. 2018, it'll have DNA from 2017 or 16. It's like they take another version, not the one that's coming out, and it never sort of like FIFA. You know that is FIFA from that comes out every year. Whether you go back to FIFA 08, FIFA 09. And onwards, other than when they brought the Frostbite engine in, which really didn't make a lot of difference to the game engine. It just was the Frostbite engine, and I can't really see a lot other than the pitch deteriorating and stuff. But you know that game is FIFA when you watch it. You know the DNA is there. With PES at the moment, there doesn't seem to be a DNA. I can't see the same game each year. And I know we always get, you've probably had this yourself, you get the placebo effects. And I go on the forums, like I said, they're dead now, but it's the same people bitching and moaning. I've been one of them. I hold my hands up. And like, it's not Pes 18, it's Pes 17.5, or you know, and all, or you know, as they do, like it's half a game, it's not a real game, and that's what comes out every year, and then you get all that. And I think just find it hard to get into that, knowing how good we had it and how lucky we were, really. Whether it was just pure bullshit luck that they stumbled across a game engine that worked. And
I think it was blind luck, because as soon as they moved on to the 360 and the PS3. It was. I don't want to use the term. It was the start of the beginning. It was the start of the end. You know what I mean, or the end of the beginning, whatever. But I didn't quite get the same sort of feeling when I booted the disc up. I mean, I'd still pour 90, 100, 120 hours into it without even blinking. But I'm an offline player predominantly. The only time I play online is usually when I stream. So for me, I want a game where I can sit down for 4 hours and plow into, which is predominantly why I play story-driven games, because if I'm paying £40 for a game, even if I'm getting 25, 30 hours worth of storyline and it's well written, then I feel like I've that £40 has been well spent. Like the missus at the moment, she's gone back and she started playing LA Noire. Obviously, I bought that game quite a while ago, but she's picking it up and she's enjoying it because it's a storyline game. You know, she won't play any other, like Tomb Raider as well. She'll play that. And she doesn't even particularly play games, but because it's the storyline's there or whatever, she's more than happy to play it. And it's the same with me. I want to feel like if I'm buying players, I'm building that storyline in my head because I want them to go on and win the Champions League for me. I want them to be scoring that 93rd minute Aguero finisher to win the league in the very last second. You know what I mean? I want that feeling. So
I can mute you, you know. I can.
I wondered when I could try and slip that in there.
As long as you don't put Martin Tyler on, we're good. Fucking, that's one of the worst days ever. Fucking hell, I'm disgusted now.
If I'm managing to make that narrative up in my head,
playing
Master League, then I'm more than happy to carry on playing it. But I don't feel like I've got that journey, that storyline when I'm playing Master League now. So for me, it's not been a completely failed year because I have enjoyed it. Like the co-op thing, I've been playing with the Midnight Kid again. We've been enjoying the co-op games. Byron yesterday when we tried playing and was getting slaughtered. But yeah, there has been a lot of things that I've enjoyed about it. I mean, from an editing standpoint as well, there's been a lot that we have been able to edit. We've been able to build our option files quicker than we did in 2016, I think it was, where you had to put everything in by yourself rather than like now we've been able to one-click upload and it's all done for you. So they are making improvements for us as the community, but I think when it comes down to raw gameplay, I don't think it competes anywhere close with whatever it used to do.
No, and I agree with that. And the fact that you just pull a shameless City plug on my podcast is a disgrace, especially that one. That is the worst ever. I used to walk around fucking Stretford Precinct, and there was some tosser had that fucking shirt on with the A going all the way down the fucking back, and he used to walk behind him in Stretford and just want to throw something on that fucking shirt. Well, thanks, mate. Anyway,
it's all right. It's all right. I know. I was thinking, how am I going to shove this in here somewhere? Oh wait, here it is. Master League's opening up. I can squeeze this one in.
It's fucking disgraceful. you know what, though? To be fair, I'm totally off the subject, but when that happened, I never forget being in my house watching it. And obviously, we didn't deserve to win that league. I was there when Everton come back we were 4-2 up, and then Fellaini, Sideshow Bob, no wonder we hate him. And he scored, and Stephen Pienaar made it 4-4. And obviously, you come back from nowhere because we were like 10 clear, weren't we, at one point? And then that game was like, there's no way City are getting beat by these. No way, no way. And I remember we finished, and I'm thinking, I was saying to my father-in-law at the time, and I said to him, I said, there's no way we've won this league. I genuinely did not believe. And just as it got to 91st minute, I started believing. Honestly, I swear on my life. Yeah. And there's not many moments as a United fan where them last minutes have gone against us, and I've sat there like this. Oh my fucking God. And you literally thought someone, I know you're loving this, but you literally thought someone had passed. And I swear on my life, I turned it over right at the point where Balotelli put Aguero in, and I remember going, "Oh my God!" and just putting my head down. My best mate's a City fan, and he, since we were kids, I've been there with him, Like he come with me once to Old Trafford years ago in '92, and then I remember going to Main Road with him and nearly getting battered because I went to Main Road. City were playing Villa. Niles Quinn's got 2. Les Seeley was in net for Villa to just left United, and never forget it at Main Road. I nearly got battered. Because they've gone to Main Road with all them fucking pigeons shitting on your head with a fucking United badge on. I had a United badge on about as big as this. And I was about 14 then, 92. And these lads wanted to beat me up big time. I was thinking, I don't understand why they're having a pop at me. And then I knew when I got home, I was like, oh, yeah.
One of my favourite ones was when I used to play for the school football team. I probably was about the same age, like 12, 13. And we used to get tickets all the time, like school did, to go to Old Trafford, because the coaches used to come in and do the football training or whatever. We used to get tickets all the time. One of them was for the derby, and it was I can't remember who scored for United. All I remember from the game is we got a free kick around the 75th, 76th minute, and so I can't remember who went off, but Sean Goater came on, and so did Ali Benabia. And we won the free kick almost instantly. And Ali Benabia ended up putting one of the best balls I've ever seen into the box. And Sean Goater just got up, headed it. I was stood behind the net. There was 14 of us, and there was all United fans behind me and my mate who was City fans. And Sean Goater jumped up. I don't know how he managed to try to jump real further than, but he headed it, hit the crossbar, bounced down, and went in. We ended up drawing that day 1-1. And me and my mate was 14. Like, fuck, get in there. And all these United fans just looking at us like, oh my God, I thought I was going to get decked. That's like one of my favourite, because obviously we were shit back then. Like if we got any points that day or any game back in that time, it was unbelievable. So like, yeah, it was. I loved it.
I remember. I know we've gone off on one there because we were going to talk about the derbies. We might as well get into it if you want. Yeah, I remember watching it in the Quadrant because I'm like from round near like his cricket ground, United's ground, and we watched it there your last game at Main Road, and I remember you going 1-0 up. Was it Goater? And then
it was
Anelka, sorry. Then Solskjaer scored 1-1. And like I say, my best mate's a City fan. His old man, God rest his soul, he's just passed away. He's a City fan. And everyone else in that pub's pretty much United. And my brother-in-law's over my shoulder. And then Gary Neville fucks up in the second half, didn't he? Which is obviously lovely for you. It's the last game. And I just remember, he's bad this. I know I'm not condoning this, but my brother-in-law he had like one of them like cinema screens, you know, the floppy screens on the wall. And he just picked up a fucking pool ball and went, fuck off. And it just went off in the pub. And it was just like, and my best mate and his dad were just sat there pissing themselves laughing because everyone was going mental. I'll never forget.
That was one of my favourite pictures is of Gary Neville stood right in front of the City fans with his hands behind his head because he obviously let the goal in, didn't he? He's like that. You see all the City fans behind him giving him the bees. It's like unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get into that if you want because I'm fresh.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to talk about it.
So let's talk before we get the derbies. So what we're going to do is, I said to you, we'll do like top 5 derbies if you've got them, which I'm sure you have, especially recently. And then I know which one of them is going to be. I don't want to talk about that one, but
no, I'll be interested to see what you think is my favourite.
Your favourite?
I'll be interested to hear because everybody thinks it's always going to be a particular one, and that's not even my favourite. Well,
I know. I mean, how old are you, Bibby?
I'm 27.
Right. So you probably my 39. And I know one of the games has got one of the best derby goals for us, and we got beat 5-1. Was when Run Riot. You usually scored an absolute world-class scissor kick, but Brightwell, David White, so Ian Bishop was playing Redmond. I remember the start of the game because I'm not saying that's your favourite, but I remember the 5-1 because it was one of them games as a kid. It was one of the only times I've ever seen City absolutely dick us. And I remember there was
few and far between.
Pardon?
There was few and far between.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember we just bought Gary Pallister and Ince, and Pallister at the time was 2.whatever million, best defender in the country, and all this. So they said, we paid a lot of money for him. And then we went to Main Road, and I remember I think it was 0-0, and there was loads of crowd trouble because I remember my best mate used to put on kick-off with Elton Wellesby, and he had it on video for years. Every time we went round, he'd go, I've just got this video to show you, and he'd put that game on right, every time and sit in front of the video so we couldn't take it out. And we like to be fighting with him. And there's a scene where it kicks off between United and City fans. I know it's at the Platt Lane, and this United fan's giving it the big one, and he's going all this, like, come on, you know, and all this. Yeah. And some City fan just gets a bottle and just goes, fuck off, and he just goes dink, and it all just goes off. And that's when they had to get all the United fans out of that end. And then when he restarted, he just steamrolled us. But I never forget that game because he used his goal, but the rest of it was just disgrace.
It was an actual disaster.
Let me think then. Is it one at Old Trafford or Main Road or Eastlands?
It was at Main Road. I'll tell you what, we've literally just talked about it. It was the 3-1.
The 3-1, yeah.
It was the 3-1, yeah.
It was your last game there as well, to be fair, wasn't it? So
yeah. Well, it was the last derby there.
Yeah, setting stars, that one, I think.
Well, in true typical City fashion, we ended up losing our last game at Main Road by set, but I think it was 1-0 against Southampton. In true typical City fashion, we still had a presentation and that, but in typical shitty fashion.
Everyone wrecked the pitch then, didn't they?
Yeah, there was people ripping the seats out to take home and that. Which you could actually buy a seat, which people actually did. They ended up getting their own stand where they had season tickets for years. They'd end up buying like a row of 4 chairs that they'd just keep in the shed somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, it was an easy way of making money. People, they were selling the turf off. I think it was like 150 quid. And you can get a bit of the turf. I don't know what people did after that because it would obviously just die. But
yeah, I don't get that one. I mean, go on. You give me your rundown then of what you think. Or should we do one each so it's not all one-sided? Because otherwise it's going to look like I'm actually just taking the glory at the end.
Well, you've got a lot more to choose from than I have.
Well, yeah, not in a fucking moment. Right, so number 5, I'll go with Cantona's second game for United. It's his debut at Old Trafford, and it was pissing it down. I think Niall Quinn scored. I think we scored. Who scored? Ince scored first, made it 1-0. And then I think Niall Quinn scored. Rick Holden crossed it. See, I know my City stuff, you see. I do know my stuff because my best friend was a City fan. So we're always, so I know my stuff with City. And that's sad for me to admit. But yeah, Rick Holden scored and Niall Quinn buried it. And then Cantona come on and used it, chested it outside the box over Tony Coton and buried it 2-1. And I think you lot were all at that end. So that's my number 5, shall we say?
Don't know what my next one would be. I've got my top 3. I'll tell you what, I'll go with the 4-1. I think Sean Wright
Phillips.
Yeah, ended up getting it. I don't know. He did take on like 2 people. He ended up rolling it down the line and he ended up burying it from the edge of the box.
Yeah, he did it. Well, didn't Trevor Sinclair score?
Yeah, he did. No. Yeah. 4-1. That was a phenomenal game. Again, that's another game that I didn't manage to get to, but it was a unreal day. I'd say because I was still in school, and so it was all playground talk. You go in the next day and it's all like trying to emulate. But yeah, I think John Macken ended up bagging that day as well, if I remember.
Yeah, he only United him as well.
He was. I think he's a United fan.
Yeah, he was.
Sean Gold was at a trial at United as well.
Yeah, he did. Sean Gold. I know that one. He was in the reserve. Didn't he play for the reserves or something like that? Yeah. Years ago, didn't he go feed the goat? Bastard. Anyway, my number 4 will be mainly because it absolutely. I mean, I've got a big nose, but this next guy was giving it the big one at half time. We were getting beat 2-0. We'd just been knocked out by Galatasaray in the Champions League. Cantona had got whacked by the police over in Turkey, and fucking Mike Big Nose Summerby. And I know that's bad. I know. He's giving it the big one with Dennis Law at half-time at Main Road, and he wipes us off the pitch in that first half. Schmeichel let 2 shit goals in. Niall Quinn scored 2. David White should have scored 2 goals as well. Went 1-on-1 with Schmeichel, and then we come back with Cantona got 2, and then Keno scored right at the end. And I never forget it because I remember Cantona, it was 2-1, and Michel Vonk was playing at the back for City, and even he had a bigger nose than me, but he played. And I remember Cantona getting the ball in the centre circle doing juggling and Martin Tyler going, and it's like a conductor dingy the orchestra. And then he come across, and I think Giggsy knocked it over and he scored. And then at the end, Keno come in and picked up, I think it was Lee Sharp over his shoulders. I remember the United fans getting abused when they scored, make it 3-2.
Oh, it's typical, 2-0 up.
Yeah, you were levering us as well in that first half.
I think the next one is it was such a shit day to win as well, but it was the Munich Memorial match.
Yeah. I thought it might be
2008.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Benjani.
I don't know how he managed to get given that goal because I think it was Petrov that put the ball in.
Yeah,
I think it was Petrov, and it was already swinging towards the net. And I still don't think he got a touch in it, but it came off his. Allegedly, he said it came off his shoulder, but he buried into the bottom corner because I think Van der Sar was expecting someone to get something on it, so he kind of went across, but it didn't go across enough to obviously stop it from going in.
The kits were mint that day as well, weren't they?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, it was retro kits. Yeah,
that was really good.
Love that.
No. That's. I mean, irrespective of that, I think we just did turn up that day. I think it was Ericsson was the manager then, wasn't he, for you?
Yeah.
He had his game plan. Yeah, so I've got no complaints about that one at all because irrespective of you win, I think everyone was good on that day.
Did you? I'm trying to think now. You didn't score first, did you? I'm sure you scored like towards the end of the match.
No, you were 2-0 up. You were 2-0
up. I think you put us 2-0 up.
Yeah, you did. You were 2-0 up pretty quick.
Yeah, I think so. Who scored for you all that?
I don't know whether it was.
90th, I'm sure it was really late in the game.
I don't know whether it was. Was it Fletcher? I don't think it was Giggsy. Giggsy was the captain. I think it was.
I'll tell you who it was. It was Michael Carrick.
Carrick was it? All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, Fletcher was the one who scored in the 6-1, and I'm sure we're going to hear about that pretty soon. But anyway, on to my number 3 is now this one is it's not actually it's a game I was at, but it's not actually a league game. And it was United against City at Main Road, and I went to this, and it's the only time I've ever gone to Main Road in a United shirt and never got battered. And that's Paul Lake's testimonial.
Yeah,
and I went to that out of respect because he was a great player.
Yeah, he was.
And honestly, I mean that sincerely. We went, and it was the only time we could walk down there off Princess Parkway. There was 3 of us, me, my brother, and my cousin. And we got out and we walked, and nobody did a thing to us.
Yeah, well, I think it'll be a bad day if it kicked off at a testimonial day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that'll be bad. But that was a good day, because it was a respect thing. I think it was 2-2. I think we had a game a couple of days later, but I remember there was a guy. Do you ever remember James Stanich? He was on 1152. He's the presenter on there. He used to do a talk show, and his 2 sons were there. He was a Middlesbrough fan, and one of them scored on like a penalty shootout at half time. But he had a City shirt and then just pulled it off, and he had a United shirt on, and they were all going mental at him, absolutely mental at him. But, yeah, I remember that. I don't know what year that was. It was probably around about 94. No, Van der Houw was in that. Raymond Van der Houw, because we were singing about him. I don't know if it's about 97, 98, something like that. Anyway,
yeah.
He come on, Paul Lake. He was limping, and he just kicked the ball off, and then that was it. Obviously, he went off the pitch, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Subbed him straight away. But yeah, so be nice there. That was nice.
Yeah, that's a nice one. I tell you what, this one is a nice one from me.
Go on.
It was the League Cup game. What was it? It was 2010 where Giggsy scored first. I think it was like the semi-final, and Giggsy scored first, and then Carlos Tevez ended up bagging a penalty, and then he bagged the other one, and he went up to the stand and did that.
Yeah, he did that. Was it Neville where it kicked off?
Neville. Yeah.
I remember.
I think we still went out. I think he ended up winning the return leg.
Yeah, Rooney scored right at the end in the return leg. Because, saying that, this isn't on my list by any stretch of imagination, but the worst one I've ever had against you was got at Wembley when Sore scored 1-0.
Oh, my God, through the legs.
Oh, you played us off the park. We should have scored in the first about 5 minutes. Berbatov had about 3 chances, and after that, he just spanked. So I remember Scholes, he went down, I think his leg, Zabaletta's, didn't he? Got sent off. It all kicked off with because I remember it all kicked off outside Wembley. I mean, badly kicked off. Oh, it was terrible. It was like a fucking war zone outside there. Yeah. It was just, nothing got reported about that. It was like all you were missing was a load of cars on fire and stuff like you see in these apocalypse. Honestly, there was just people fighting everywhere. It wasn't even. I remember when you scored because we were at the top of the. Because I used to sit at the top of the North Stand at Old Trafford, so they put us in comparable seats. So we were right at the top. My daughter was only 10 then. And I remember all the City fans were about 20 yards away from us, but there was a mesh thing in a way. Yeah. And this City fan was trying to jump. A lot of United fans got in one aisle. There's about 30 of them in one aisle. So they're obviously ready to try and start fighting in front of us. And when City scored, this City fan's just giving it the big and Bibby, and he's going, come on. And he tried to jump. And this copper just got the baton and went, dink, and that was the best thing about the day because he just not condoning someone getting KO'd. He didn't get KO'd. He just sort of like was like, oh, I won't do that again. And he was apologizing, but he was one of the ones where we were all like, fuck off. But you beat us that day. So anyway, forget that. I don't want to talk about that again. But my number 2 is this is a bad one, this, because I went to this game and I was sat right near the City fans, near you guys, and it's the 0-1-4-3.
Oh, God, that is the worst. That is literally the worst day of my life.
Well, you know what's even worse as a United fan? Fucking leaving when Craig Bellamy scored to make it 3-3 and missing Owen's goal. That's poor, mate.
My God.
I just saw my ass.
I got barred from a pub that day.
Did you?
It wasn't for kicking off either. Believe it or not, it was for throwing up everywhere.
Was you?
I was absolutely twatted, mate.
Oh,
I can't remember how I'm sure you went 3-1 up and we ended up scoring twice. Like I think Bellamy scored twice to make it 3-3, and I thought, fucking hell, we've got something here. So I'm like, way throwing him down and that. And then as soon as Owen scored, it was like, right, finish the pint. And as soon as I finished it, I was like, I don't feel right here. And it was everywhere. And the barmaid was like, you cleaning it up? I'm like, no, I'm not fucking cleaning it up. So she threw me out and her husband chased me down the street. Get back in and clean it up. But it was like the worst day of my life. I thought we'd got something out of it.
I thought you just scored. I got outside Old Trafford and I never ever see me arse with stuff like that. And I was like, you can fuck off, because I usually sit in the Stretford end, and I actually won it on Key 103, the competition to go. And I went on, and me and my mate are there, and I went, right, we're fucking going. I'm not coming out, and these fucking idiots are coming out. 3-0 Rio had just got fucking skinned, and Ben Foster decided to dive over the ball. And when he scored, and I swear to you, Bibby, I got right outside the Trafford, and I heard this cheer, and I was like, it's fucking sick. You know, because it didn't sound loud enough, because everyone was just leaving the ground at one point. Yeah. And then some people just were jumping outside the Trafford, and we had to run in the Trafford to see the goal. It's a great day. Yeah. Until fucking I missed the last goal.
It was a typical Owen goal, and that's the only. It wasn't like a dog shit tapping or anything like that. It was a typical. That's the only saving grace for me, that it wasn't something that we did wrong. I mean, the defender should have got closer to him, because it's Michael Owen. He may have been 32 by the time he'd end up banging it in, but it's a typical Michael Owen sidestep, and then he just outside of the boot into the bottom corner. Like Joe Hart, he couldn't have done anything about it. It was unbelievable. But I think it was Giggsy that passed it to him.
Yeah, it was. Giggsy pulled the pass from nowhere.
Yeah, it was just like proper, like a reverse pass. He took everyone by surprise, and he did everything that he needed to bury it, and that was the only saving grace for me. But
yes. Sorry, mate. You can take your glory now with your first one.
Right, so obviously you already know what my first one was, so I'll run this one. It was the one where I've never seen Old Trafford get evacuated.
Hold on a sec. Let me put my hood up. I can't hear this.
Yeah, it was the obviously it has to be the 6-1, doesn't it?
Oh my God. We were 3-0. We were 3-1 down for 10 minutes to go. That's how bad it was. Oh.
Yeah. It was. I mean, building up to it. Obviously, I think it was the night before. It was in the paper that Balotelli had set his bathroom on fire by firing fireworks out of his window.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like the build up to it was like he's obviously lost his head, and the first goal, I think it was James Milner passed the ball across the box to the edge of the 18, and I don't know. I've never seen another goal like it, where apart from I think Cruz done it. He just passed the ball into the bottom corner from that far out. Yeah, it's just no effort whatsoever, just side foot. Like De Gea just sort of looked at it and then dived straight after it. But I've never seen anything like it.
And to be fair, I'll hold my hands up. I never liked him anyway. And from the minute he got sent off, that cop Johnny Evans was on my hit list at Old Trafford, because he fucking gave that penalty. Was it a penalty he gave away and he got sent off? No, it wasn't a penalty, was it? No,
that was a different game. It was a different game. He didn't get sent off.
The 6-1 he did get sent off in, because we were down to 10 men. Because I remember
we didn't get a penalty that day.
No, sorry, yeah, you're right. But he did get sent off in that game, and I never forget that, because it's like, why didn't you just let him go through? If we'd gone 1-0 down, it doesn't matter. It was so early in the game. It was about 30 minutes.
Right. He got sent off in the second half. As soon as it kicked off, he got sent off.
Yeah, the fucking banana. And then after that, it was just a shit show. You went 3-1 up, and then David Silva and Dzeko were just taking the piss out of us, weren't they? Complete. Oh, that was the worst.
I've never seen Edin Dzeko outpace someone before in my life.
He did that day, though.
Yeah, twice he managed to outpace him.
I'm having palpitations now thinking about this, but You've done me there completely. It's one of them. It's one of them things where you say, I actually saw City destroy us at Old Trafford, and that is just fucking horrible.
The David Silva Megnuts at the end, though, that's like the epitome of that day. Like,
they all ran off, didn't they, doing all this? And I was like, oh no. I mean, I've been at Old Trafford the last few years when last year Iniacho scored and all that. He took the piss. That was 2-1, wasn't it, with Ibrahimovic. Then there was one where Aguero dicked us right at the end, and it was a great shot. Right past the Gea, right at your end. Is
that the one where I think we ended up taking it? I think Aguero ran from like 25 yards, took on 3 players.
Yeah, he went across like that. And
it was where the Phil Jones face was
yeah. His head's like this, like that. yeah. I can laugh about it because he's fucking rubbish, Phil Jones. So yeah, I can dig it. Now, obviously, we'll skate over all that, and I've got podcast privileges on this one, with it being mine. There's an honourable mention, this one, because I always like this player. This isn't the game, but it's one game where we used to have, years ago at Old Trafford, if the derby was on, they used to put a massive HGV lorry on I don't know if they did it at Main Road or whatever, and it used to be a massive screen in the middle of the pitch. So if they went to certain away games in like the 90s, and it was a big game, like when we first won the league in 93, we played Palace away, and Husey scored a goal, and it was one of these. I think Paul Ince scored, and it's one of these where you could sit in the stands or the main stands and watch it because it was never on telly, these sort of games. So I remember there's a derby at Main Road. He was the manager. He was what's he called? He looked like him off Sutty. Brian. What's his name? In the 90s, he used to have a beard. Looks like him who used to do Sutty. Matthew Thingy. Brian Thingy, City's manager. What's his name? Oh, fuck. I should know this. I should know it. Brian, I can see him now with his coat on, his Umbro coat and the brother thing. Oh, what's his name? Go on, Bibby. Have you got your computer on there?
I'll have a look now.
What's his name? Brian Horton. Brian Horton. That's his name. I think that's him. Sure it is. Brian Horton.
Yeah, Brian Horton.
Yeah, Brian Horton. And I remember it was at Main Road and Keith Curl was playing, 93. And we went, they had that player, Kavalashvili, had just signed for City. And he was like this new circuit. He come with King Clancy. He's one of King Clancy's mates, obviously. I think King Clancy was there. Yeah, he's a good player, Kinky. I'll give him that. I'll give you that. I think King Clancy scored, if I'm not right. But I remember I used to love, even though he played for City, and I sound proper like I'm a blue lover, and I'm not, is Uwe Rosler. I used to
legend.
I used to love that celebration, which is a bad thing to say, but he used to do that under his arm when he scored. But I remember him scoring, and he was having beef with Brian Oates. I think Nigel Clough scored or set him up. And Brucey had fucked it up, and he scored Rosler, and he ran over. Oh, no, was it Alan Ball? It might have been Alan Ball who was the manager. And he ran over. It might have been Alan Ball, actually. And he ran over to him, giving him loads. And I never forget Keith Curl giving it the big one. Like that to, I think Andy Dib. I think Colton was in net. I don't think it was Andy Dib, it was Colton. And he's like that to him, I've got it covered, I've got it covered. And Giggsy just buried it in the top corner. And the ball at the stanchion had come down and stopped dead. And we watched it on that stand, and all these City fans had come in because you got back to 2-2, and they were watching at Old Trafford, and it just kicked off. And when we scored, everyone piled up to the City fans. But anyway,
Jesus.
that isn't me.
I think Alan Ball was. I think I'm going back. Obviously, I was only young then. I think it was 96. Alan Ball.
Oh, it might have been a Brian Horton then. It might have been Brian Horton who was the manager. Because I know,
but relegated us.
But my number one Manchester derby is one that I was there, and I can truthfully say it's probably the best goal I've ever seen at Old Trafford. And it was, you played us off the park that game, and it was even better because that bitter, big-nosed fucker, Summerby, was giving it the big one about David Silva, and it's great to see his bitter face. And then fucking Rooney just popped up from nowhere. No. He was having the worst season of his life. No, it come off his leg. Off his top of his boot, even though these debates his shin. Mika Richards and Joe Hart didn't know what day it was. No. And he really
came out of nowhere. That was a perfect ball in by Nani. Like, it couldn't have been.
Mate, honestly.
There was only one, that was the only thing he could have done to try and score.
He wouldn't have scored that anymore. And he was terrible. Even the pass that he did to Scholesy before, I think, he did pass to Berbatov, Rooney, and then Scholesy put it out to Nani. Rooney was having the worst game I've ever seen, I think. And that was obviously pre his haircut. because he'd gone, and then he ran over, didn't he? Did all that to the cup.
Yeah.
But just to be there, and you've had that yourself probably against us. But when you're there for them sort of goals, I'll take that to me grave as the best game I've been at, because we got outplayed completely on that.
That builds the atmosphere, doesn't it? That kind of goal.
I think, did we score first? Nanny scored first from nowhere, and these were all over us. And then did Silva score? But David Silva had a stormer that day. He was class.
It's very rare that I've never seen. I'm not sorry, I've never seen him out of a game, but he seems to be our most consistent performer, regardless of what game it is.
Yeah, he's a great player.
Like, when we ended up going to Blackpool, and he was easily head and shoulders above every single man on that pitch. It don't matter if he was playing at fucking a shithole like Blackpool, where the pitch is absolute dog shite, or playing at Old Trafford. He just seems to play exactly the same every single time. Yeah,
my only criticism of him is he should score more goals.
Yeah, he should.
Don't score enough. He seems to drag a lot of his shots wide, doesn't he? He's a great player.
I thought we had exactly the same thing with Sterling, but I mean, he scored 23 goals this year so far. So,
you know, revelation, mate. Revelation, hasn't
he? If Sterling could carry on like that in the World Cup, and Harry Kane carries on scoring, I think we've got more than enough goals in that team.
But they're going to need goals with them two dicks at the back, aren't we? Smalling and Jones.
That's always been our problem, though. We've never been able to score many goals in the big tournaments. Like, we should have absolutely dicked Iceland and stuff like that. But again, we just never seem to score against these shit teams. So if we can try and get these players to be as ruthless as they are in the Premier League,
we've got the players, though. We've got the players there. It's just
the players.
It's the belief and the system, innit?
How can you have a midfield four of the likes of Beckham, Scholes, Steven Gerrard, and Frank Lampard, not to mention all the other ones that we had around the same time, and not be able to win tournaments? It's
unbelievable. I remember 2002, Owen Hargreaves, Nicky Butt, having Stormers, you know, like playing really well. And then obviously you had Beckham. He was up front then. Shearer was coming towards the end, wasn't he? I suppose he was there 2002. I mean, Shearer was absolute class, wasn't he?
Owen was in his prime.
No, Owen was great for England. He was a bit like Peter Crouch. So Peter Crouch, I'm not saying he's world class, but he always scored for England. Crouch.
I still find it difficult to say that Crouch only scored 100 goals in the Premier League. I thought he'd have way more than that, considering that some of the clubs that he's played for. I mean, he played for Liverpool for 3 years, and he's scored quite a lot there.
Yeah,
for Peter Crouch's standard, anyway.
The best goal I've ever seen him score at Stoke was that volley outside the box. What a goal that was!
You mean the one against City?
That's one.
That was an unbelievable goal, though. That was an unbelievable goal.
Didn't Torre score from about 35 yards in that game, though?
Yeah, well, I think we still ended up losing 2-1.
Did you?
I think it was. Yeah, I think he ended up scoring to make it 2-1 with that unbelievable rocket.
Yeah, he scored a screamer.
It was a cup game, that one as well.
Oh, was it?
I'm sure it was a cup game.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I had to throw the United stuff.
I'll let you have that one.
I'll let you have that one. But you know, no, it's fucking. What you know what you said about the wrestling? What do you watch? Do you watch old or new?
Predominantly old. Obviously, when it gets to the build up from usually about November to after WrestleMania, that's where I start to watch Monday Night Raw again.
Yeah, that's
still a bag of shite. Like when I say I watch it, I'll have it on, but I'll be doing something else at the same time because it just doesn't hold my interest. But I like to know going into WrestleMania exactly what's going to be going on and what's going down. Yeah,
that's like me. I Royal Rumble I always watch, and I put it the other week. I'd got the network for $1.99, and Steve-O obviously comes on with us. He's well into the network now, and I've told him last time.
I had the network. I watched everything that I needed to watch on the network for me to be able to get my money, and then I got rid of it. They started making the original content and stuff like that, didn't they? Like they had the carpool stuff. I thought that was quite funny. But then they started bringing out all the like the ladies and gentlemen, this is Paul Heyman.
Oh, that was good. That
DVDs and stuff like that. So I watched all that sort of stuff. The documentary on Bret the Hitman Hart, and basically just all the documentaries that they had on there of all the wrestlers at the time. But then there was no, they don't add Monday Night Raw on for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, so it's pointless.
Yeah, so I'm having to watch them on these fucking shite replay video on demand services rather than watching it on that. Because I thought if you're paying your money, you like SmackDown. I think that's on like a week later, so you don't have to wait around for it. But when it comes to Monday Night Raw, you have to wait so long for it. If you're paying for it, you should be getting it like the next day. Yeah,
I don't understand that. Especially, I think it's something to do with the contracts they've got in America, you know, with the TV channels. So I think SmackDown's on one and Raw's on another, but I don't even watch them now. Literally, if there's an old school wrestler comes back, I'll put it on. Like I missed the Ronda Rousey stuff the other day because I just don't believe in it anymore. Now, I mean, I know it's fake anyway and all that shit. We know that, but the PG stuff now is terrible. Roman Reigns, why the fuck they're flogging that dead horse? I do not know.
I bought Shut Your Mouth.
Oh, PS2.
Yeah, I bought that one. I can't believe it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So I remember playing it and thinking it was the tits at the time. But the season mode isn't that good in it. But I need Here Comes the Pain because I remember that being the best, like my favorite wrestling game.
They say that's the best. I've got the N64 ones here, like WWF No Mercy, and WCW NWO, and they're the two games. And I put them on the other week, and they look all right. But once I get this upscaler, I'll try and get into it. But yeah, Here Comes the Pain. So it's got Brock on the front, hasn't it?
Yeah. This one's got Hogan and The Rock on the front. But I thought they had a proper season thing on it, but it's like the storyline's predetermined, and you're just playing through matches. There's nothing to it really, but the moves are shite as well. So it feels like it's rinse and repeat. It feels like a brawler more than a wrestling game. So
yeah, like a fighting game.
I've got it completely mixed up. I should have got Here Comes the Pain, which I could probably pick up for 25p, like I have the rest of these anyway. So I'll probably end up picking that up at some point.
I've got to say, you got to steal with all them games,
mate. I think overall, I mean, I picked up them 13 or 14 games the other day, and it was like £8.75. But I've got 24 PS2 games here, and I think overall they've cost me about 13, 14 quid. And some absolute worldies there. Like I've got all the Pro Evos from Pro Evo 1 right up to 2009 on PlayStation, and then Pro Evo Soccer Manager, and then I just bought things like Tony Hawk's and SmackDown, Soul Reaver, Medal of Honor, Sensible Soccer 2006. I'm not sure about that. I don't think I ever played that remastered version.
It's not bad. It plays all right. It does play all right.
I haven't played that one yet.
It's not as good as the old stuff, but it wasn't a bad remake, to be honest. Not great, but it wasn't bad.
Well, I've obviously still got all my Resident Evils and stuff like that. I've got all them Silent Hill. I've kept them anyway.
No, that's cool. You're going to be streaming all them?
Oh, yeah. Like, all the Pro Evo stuff and most of the football content now probably be on Pes Universe, but, like, the Getaway and Soul Reaver and stuff, that'll probably be on my channel.
Getaway. I've got that here. I got given a PS2 with a load of games because I collect them as well. And one of the lads brought a massive bin bag in a few months ago, and the Getaway's on it. And it was glitched to fuck, but I love that game. Oh, I fucking love that game.
Oh, I've done that one. I need to get Black Monday as well. Obviously, that was the second one. That's slightly more expensive.
Yeah, it will be. Well, I think I remember the first one. I remember when he goes into Hammond had to go into the police station dressed as a BT engineer, and the game. Is that the second one?
I haven't played the second one. I've only
it's the first one. I think it's the first one. And he goes into the police station and he's got to go in as like a telephone engineer or whatever he is.
Right.
But the game was that glitch that as you're walking down the corridor, you passed yourself coming the other way. Something happened in one. There was a glitch in one of the rooms, and then obviously you used to stand against the wall, didn't you? Because even now we just take the piss. Like me and my brother, my dad used to play, and he's like he used to go. And then it's the most random heel thing I've ever seen in a game. It was just weird as fuck, but I used to love that game. Absolutely love it. It's such a good game. But I think
that what I get through.
It's low, mate.
I'll play it up streaming. Like I never played it, but it was called Let's Make a Soccer Team, and I always fancied it. But it was made by Sega. But it was like 2006 or whatever, and I always fancied it because it was like the old LMA games where you could like. Basically, you are a dog shit team, and you have to. The storyline's obviously predetermined at the beginning again, but then you can buy players or whatever. But you're the chairman of a club, and you have to buy new players. You have to build a stand, build an arena, and stuff like that because you go into liquidation. So it's like a football manager game, but you've got the whole top to bottom. So I've been playing that. I picked that up for 25p. But that's always one I've always wanted to play. But CEX at the moment, the amount of games that they have on the website compared to in store. Might as well just go into the store because I throw them out on the website.
No, the one in Salford I went to, and I got a couple of games, and then I even got the WCW NWO boxed for about £4. Whereas on eBay, it's going it's probably going for about £8-9 boxed.
Yeah, but you have to pay a delivery on top of that. Like the minimum value that you can pay on websites always includes a delivery fee, which is either between £1.50 or £2. But you can buy 4 games for that. Do you know what I mean? So it's not worth it.
No, it's not. It's not. But yeah, it's a good because I've gone down the route. I think I've put pictures up of the old stuff, even older, like the old consoles. I've got everything now. So
you got the Raspberry Pi as well, haven't you?
Yeah, and I built that myself. The only thing I did, I mean, I got a PS1 3D print, so it looks like an original PS1.
Yeah.
The only thing I've done is on a couple of times is I made a mistake. Is one of the SD cards I wanted everything on, so I bought a 64 gig one, and that was the worst thing I could have done. 32 gigs is a sweet spot with these SD cards. So I got a 64, and the only ones that work on it are SNES, a Master System, and a couple of the Mega Drive Master System, a little bit of SNES. And then I've got another one that's got SNES on. Every SNES game that works fine, but the Mega Drive stuff, I don't know what I've done. It's something I've done. It's not something I've never.
I can never get emulations to work properly, so I'd much rather. I mean, I've had this PS2 for Jesus, God knows how. It's just been under the bed until I've decided to find this converter thing. But I'd much rather the physical thing. Yeah, I play emulations on my PC for like the rare stuff. And like I tried playing Tony Hawk's 1 on the PS1 emulator, and it just runs like a bag of shit. It runs at like 5 frames a second.
Yeah, they don't run very well. The PS1 games, and they're quite hard to emulate. I've got Emu Paradise on my Mac, which is the same thing for emulators. And there's hundreds of emulators on it, but then I've just soft modded my 2 Xboxes originals. One I've only just got them, to be fair. Someone give me one, a silver one, the crystal one, and then I got a black one. I got off like Facebook for like a tenner. But I've soft modded them, so I've got like 4,000 games on it. But these PS1 games run on it, but these ISS and that isn't on it, so I don't know how to put them on really. I've got original Xbox games, but that's why I want the upscaler, so I can play arcade footy games. I mean, some of them are bobbins, but you know, just for nostalgia. But yeah, I'm with you. If I could, and I had the room, the total physical discs or whatever for the originals, I'd go down the route of as well.
I've literally got my PS2 games next to me on my desk. I've got one of them corner PC desks, so I've just got them all stacked up here. But there was a point where I was looking at getting the GameCube ones as well, because I like stuff like Virtual Strike, you know, the proper shit arcade football games and stuff.
Yeah.
But to buy a converter for that, it's like 100 quid. They don't just have them ready-made like they do for the PS2. So if I was going to get a GameCube one, I'd have to get a Wii, one of the original Wii's, because you can play GameCube games on them, and you can pick one of them up for like 15 quid now. But you can get, again, a Wii to HDMI adapter for a tenner. So that's another way around it. But I'm just massively into playing these, because most of them are nostalgia, but some of them, there's like, because I was only young when the PS2 came out, I can't keep on asking my mum or my nan and my granddad or whatever to buy the games constantly. But now obviously I'm earning my own money, I can go out and buy the games, which are like 2 quid now compared to 40 quid when they first came out. So there's loads of games that I missed that I never got around to playing in the first place.
No, I mean, Thingy's one of your friends as well. Facebook Marketplace, you get loads on there, especially PS2 and Xbox originals. Fucking loads of them. You want to get on there. I mean, I've got loads of games here. If you want some of them as well, PS2 ones. There's loads I'm never going to play. I'll have to send you a list of. You can have them. I don't want them, because there's some I'll play and there's some that I definitely won't. And I've just kept them.
Keep it for your collection, mate, because eventually you're gonna. There's loads of games that I've got rid of in the last 3 or 4 years to people who've wanted just a few games for the PS2, and I'm thinking, fucking hell. Like Return to Castle Wolfenstein was like one of my favourite games, but I was never going to play it with PS2 again. So I got rid of them, and I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to have to go and buy that again now.
Yeah.
But
true.
It's definitely worth keeping hold of them, because eventually you're going to, when you get your upscaler, you might think, tell you what, I'll give that a whirl.
Yeah, true.
Loving it. Well, thanks for that.
No, don't worry. I've got that other one for the SNES as well that you wanted. The Manchester United soccer one. You know, you wanted to stream that, didn't you?
Yeah. It's top of my list, but unfortunately I can't find the shower shite.
Is that you being sick again?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Oh, nice one, mate. I mean, I'll tell you what, before we go, give as many plugs as you want, mate, because I'll get plugging all this and get you the show.
Well, the only plug that I've got is obviously the Pes Universe, and that for me that's my baby. That's the one thing that I want everyone to be able to use. Obviously, everything that we provide is completely free. The only thing that we charge for is the membership to get stuff early. We want to reward the people who support us with the content before everybody else. So if they feel like they want to give us money, which people do, we'll reward them with giving everything free or exclusive content. But everything that is on our website is 100% free. You only pay for what you want. And that, again, is free. So the only thing there's very little difference between the free content and the membership. It's a membership. It's not, you don't have to buy everything individually. But we support the people who support us. So essentially, obviously the PesUniverse.com, which is the website that you can get everything for free. Obviously our Twitch account, where you'll see all the classic stuff, as well as some of our biggest streamers who have just come back from Barcelona, who represented us there. Unfortunately, they didn't get through to the final or at the group stage, but the experience that our lads are taking over there and playing Pes at the biggest stage is unbelievable. And there's obviously some more lads like David Fish and Unbeatable that are going to be going over there again soon. And Pirate, sorry, I forgot Pirate. So this Pes community, the people who are within this community are absolutely thriving at the moment, and every single one of them deserves it.
Yeah, quite rightly as well. And to be fair, mate, you're putting so much work and effort into that, and obviously your own show now. You know, hopefully you get the rewards from it. I think
the Pescast stuff. I mean, a lot of people who know the Midnight Kid and the True Brits know that they'll keep on putting out content. The amount of work that people don't see behind the scenes is unbelievable. There's only a few people within our group chats and that get to see everything that goes on. And people stay up till like 3 o'clock in the morning, making sure that when someone wakes up in the morning, what they want is what they see. And obviously that's our job. That's what we give people. That's what we said we were going to do, and we will continue to keep on doing it to the highest standard that we can put out there. Whether it be podcasts, whether or not it be video content, whether or not it's just a new kit that people want for the My Club stuff.
Yeah,
we want to be the best. We want to be the people where they go. And yeah, I need something. I'm going to ask these people. Obviously, I'm available on Twitter, Bibby_Pes Uni. So if anybody does need anything, literally, if they want a kit being made or out, then just literally give me a shout up and I'll see what I can do for you. I'll never say no to anyone.
No, that's great. And what about your show? Where can they find your Twitch show as well?
Well, the next episode 3, is going to be at Twitch/We've Got Vivino. It's going to be at 6 o'clock on Sunday, and it's going to be with the Pes Universe pros who've just got back from Barcelona. We're going to go through, they've got exclusive video footage, like a vlog of their journey around there. So we're going to watch a bit of that, talk through it, watch another bit, talk through it. So that's going to be I'm really looking forward to that show. And then obviously I've got you on in 2 weeks as well.
Of course.
So yeah, you've got you coming on and Shogun before then as well. So for the next month or so, we've got some rapid content being put out there. So I hope everyone is going to tune in. Again, it's interactive. So if anyone wants to drop by, ask a few questions, or just be involved, you're more than welcome to do that on Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Is it obviously, will you see your guests on there, or is it just voice when they come on?
Well, it's entirely up to the people. If they want to show the face, they can show the face. If not, they can just do it via audio. That's the beauty of using OBS. Yeah. It just pulls through your computer sound. So if people don't want to have the faces shown, I can just mute that part and show whatever they want to be shown.
Oh no, I will be showing my face. I will have,
I'll get them chops on the screen. Do you know what I mean?
Not the chops. Don't you worry. There'll be something going on here. Don't you worry.
I'll crop that bit out. Don't worry. I am. That is my show. My creation station.
You can't have that on. You can't have that red stuff on, can you? No. Well, thank you for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it. And honestly, I'm not just saying this. I do appreciate the fact that you've stuck by everything that we've done, whether it's good or bad, and give me loads of support and reach.
I'll always listen, mate. I'll always listen. Like I said, the good content is hard to find these days, and people being real, not people that have been paid to say something. So finding these podcasts and stuff like that, and giving the support to those people. Obviously, I don't want anybody to start doing something and then not do it because they feel like they're being not bullied, but being told to go in a direction that they don't want to go in. So as long as people keep on doing what they need to do and what they think's right, and what they want to say, then I'm more than happy to support every single person that does that.
Yeah, and it's not a what's the name? It's the same with you as well. You know what I mean? I've listened to it. I'm not just bullshitting you. It's great. It was a good show, the first one, and obviously with the Midnight Kid on, he's quite funny as well. So
yeah, very funny character.
Yeah, he's very good. A very good sense of humour. And the good thing was, it had so many people with the comments, which is great. For your first episode, mate, you should be proud of that. It was really
I've met most of these people, do you know what I mean? One way or another. Like, I've been over to Ireland with the missus, and we've met up with the Midnight Kid. I went to Florida last year with the missus and met up with the True Brits. Do you know what I mean? So to me, all these people are like family. We speak to each other day in, day out. I speak to most of them more than I speak to my missus, and I live with her. Do you know what I mean? So it's just building up relationships with these people and having friends around you to keep on pushing you to go forward, like you have with Steve-O and the rest of the crew, and Pixel Hunter, who keeps on showing his face in these things as well. So he takes in directions, like you said, he's recommended films and games to you that you never would have even had a look at in the first place. So those always are opening, so it's better just to walk through them.
No, exactly. No, thank you, mate. And I'm going to give a quick plug to my. Obviously, you can find us on the Contextual podcast, or I actually have changed the Twitter handle now from the Contextual World to the Contextual Pod, I think, or something like that. Anyway, something, the Contextual P or something. But anyway, you can find me as always on there. I'm usually the gobshite talking nonsense. And then my new podcast is Comics in Motion with my mate Dave. And now, the thing is, Bibby, you're a City fan. And Dave, who I've known for years, he's been a band with Dave. He's a fucking Scouser, but I don't know what's going on here. I've got a total triangle of people. Dave's a fucking Liverpool fan.
You're going to be getting ZZ on next. He's a Sunderland fan, but you'll probably be crying for 90 minutes, so don't worry.
Oh, that's all right. Well, actually, no, we all fucking Sunderland, because I'll never forget that when they were doing the Poznan when you fuckers won the league. But there you go. But anyway, we'll get into that. No, well, thank you, mate. Top man.
Pleasure as always, mate.
All right, mate. So anyway, all right, so episode 36 should be up. I'll probably do it Monday or Tuesday. Whether that flaky fucker Steve-O's going to be on, I still don't know. It's just whatever way the wind blows. So I'll try and get some proper guests on if he fucking blags it again. See ya.